Yo, YouTube, we back with another reaction, man. Listen, we are reacting to a murder case. Remember, if y'all actually watched my last video, which was about mouthwashing, I basically told y'all how caught up I am into these kind of atmospheres. Killer realizes cops found her murder house. First of all, if this bitch got a murder house, you know this bitch crazy. But we finna get right into it. Alright. I'm gonna try not to get too caught up.
Hi.
You're a little crazy dog.
Stop. And what I have, Kelly, is I have a search warrant.
I wouldn't have weapons in the house.
You want to tell me where they are before you?
I've got a 22 under there. To be able to reach right in and get it.
The tiles on the ceiling. Is that what you said? Yeah, and painted it.
He could hear them in their basement using power tools.
Yo, hold on. Okay. Mom, sorry. She put towels on her ceiling.
Maybe
that's not so good.
Like 2, 3 in the morning, you heard them all night.
What happened to Chris? What? What do you mean by downside? Cut him up.
I think they hacked them up and they do it to us.
When I realized that I might have ate the dude, I'm like, oh God, like, no.
On October 27th,
He was like, damn, this thing's so
Iron
good,
River
bro.
Police Chief Laura Frizzell was heading to her car when she noticed a distressed woman in the parking lot. Terry O'Dorrell was visibly shaken as she pleaded to file a missing person report for her friend, Chris Regan, who hadn't been seen in days. Sensing the urgency, Frizzell called in Sergeant Cindy Barrett to assist, and their first stop was Chris's apartment.
This doesn't look like Chris's apartment at all. It's all disheveled. He was always very neat. Everything was always put away.
As Chris was planning to move to North Carolina for a new job, his place looked exactly like in the middle of a transition, with packing boxes scattered around, belongings half organized, and the usual mess.
He takes them out, start packing. This is his paperwork to accept the position. It's not even sent yet. His calendar shows that he was going to resign on the 14th. He has the 23rd as his last day of work.
Chris had a reputation for being a strategist, the kind of person who planned everything down to the last detail. So his sudden disappearance felt completely out of character and set off alarm bells. When they checked his apartment, there were no signs of forced entry, no evidence of a struggle, and nothing to suggest he'd left with no intention of coming back.
Something happened. I knew that in my heart, and I knew that in my gut.
After combing through Chris's apartment, their next lead took them to his car, which was abandoned for days.
No, friend of mine.
Christopher's Hyundai Genesis, his vehicle, was there. And that was his baby. He took such good care of it. And so it didn't make sense to me that it was at the park and ride.
That is knee brace?
Yep.
Does he normally wear the knee brace?
Yep.
Okay,
Chris had
my bad. I was just trying to like really get more into it. Okay, so he's normally an organized person. Let's make a note. Let's make a little note. He's an organized person, much more strategic more than anything. So he basically strategized everything that he do before he even do it. So that's how they caught up with his disappearance being weird. Is this person, like, we already know that she did it, but is she like his girlfriend or something at that point in time?
recently been in an accident, but what the investigators found next held a clue that would become the first key towards Chris, a Post-it note.
Christopher always wrote things down on Post-its, and the Post-it note had directions on it. And I told her that wherever those directions went to, that was the last place he was.
As Chief Rizzo dug deeper into Chris's life, she discovered he had a reputation as a ladies' man, often dating multiple women.
I had a feeling, bro. They said this man was strategic, a strategist, whatever. I had a feeling he had some hoes. Is that how he bro? Okay.
Soon led to a critical detail that the last known address Chris visited before vanishing belonged to one of his girlfriends, 33-year-old Kelly Cochran.
So
She was an employee at Oldenburg. Chris was actually involved in her hiring. Kelly was also new to town, and I think they bonded over that, being two city folk in this small town.
The next day, Sergeant Barrett arrived at Kelly's house to ask if she knew anything about Chris's disappearance. To her surprise, the door was opened by a man, Kelly's husband, Jason Cochran. When Kelly joined the conversation, she made a startling claim. Her husband was completely fine with their relationship with Chris.
Hey, look, however people want to get through their relationships or whatever, however they conduct themselves, that's them. I wasn't expecting her to have a husband and him know about the boyfriend, but he said he was all right with that. All right.
Jason, however, stood silently in the background.
Never mind. That nigga
Now,
was
when
not cool.
asked about Chris's car and the post-it note found inside,
was not cool
Kelly's
with it.
response took a
At
curious
all.
turn. She spoke in the past tense, saying, yes, he loved his car. That small slip didn't go unnoticed, as it immediately raised questions. The investigators decided to bring both Kelly and Jason in for questioning.
Man, you got me fucked up. If I'm Jason, bro, on some real shit, bro. Look, if I'm Jason and I'm getting involved into some investigation because of the bitch, I said because of the bitch, because of the wife I chose and the nigga that she messing with, bro, you gonna have to kill me.
Jason,
'Cause
though
I ain't trying to
mostly
get involved
silent,
with all that.
seemed desperate to justify himself and portray the role of a grieving husband. But his forced demeanor
too
and
late by
uneasy
that.
presence just didn't sit right.
I actually was institutionalized a little over a month ago, so,
Okay.
you know, if I seem like I'm getting wound up, I do see a therapist for it. Lost a close friend, and I'm depressed ever since.
Did you think that's what caused all your issues?
It's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, knowing that my marriage is falling apart.
So you were very much aware of what Kelly was doing.
I either had to accept it or to let her go. So I decided that I could at least accept it for a little while and see if it's, you know, if what she really wanted was to not be with me, then I was going to let her go.
While Jason sat sobbing, Kelly appeared more composed as her body language was calm and controlled.
Everything you know about Chris?
I'm sorry, but that, you gotta leave that, bro. I ain't finna hold you. You definitely gotta go. And I ain't finna act like you've been through a lot, bro. I ain't gonna act like you haven't. I'm not gonna act like a lot of people don't. But you gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day. You have to leave that situation, especially if they don't want to be with you no more, bro. You gotta get out of that. You got to.
We actually got pretty close in the last 4 months.
Okay.
Like a best friend.
Did you have an intimate relationship?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And obviously your husband knows?
He knows.
He knows.
Mm-hmm.
She said like
When
a
was the
best
last
friend.
time you saw Chris?
I would say between the 12th and the 15th was the last time I saw him.
Where did you see him?
I seen him at his apartment, I think.
Was Jason upset about that?
No.
Kelly, should we be looking at Jason?
I don't see why you would.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because husbands get jealous.
I understand that.
Who do you think would have hurt Chris?
I don't think anybody would hurt him. I would like to know what happened as well. That's why I'm willing to be here. I'm a good person.
Though there was no solid evidence of a crime,
lying.
Chief Rizzo couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. It had been 14 days since Chris's disappearance, and the more she dug, the more interesting things became. It didn't take long for her to uncover a startling twist that Kelly was seeing another man, Eric Erickson, at the same time she had been involved with Chris. Even more surprising was the fact that Eric worked at Oldenburley Group, where his supervisor was none other than Chris.
Could he have done something to Chris because he was angry and jealous and outraged? So it was important to eliminate him.
Kelly was caught in a complicated love quadrangle, with Eric now emerging as a key target for Michigan police.
I thought that nigga had hoes, bro. R.I.P. my boy Chris, you know what I'm saying? But the way she moving is disgusting. And that's how y'all niggas be moving in the real
I was
world.
there a couple times, like at night. I think for me it was kind of fun. You know, at first, whatever. I had moved back here and I didn't know anybody, and having somebody give me some attention was kind of, like, I liked it.
Right.
This too. I still have the full text message
The messages between him and Kelly revealed growing frustration on his part, with tensions building just a week before Chris vanished.
One thing I could definitely say about if y'all looking at how he's moving, it look like he's being genuine. But they just said about the frustration shit. I don't think he did it. Obviously, they said who did it. Some girl.
The investigators
I don't know
couldn't
if
help
it's the
but
same
wonder,
bitch that's
could
being
Eric have
investigated
been
right
a
now.
jealous lover, driven by anger and resentment? Was he the one behind the whole plan?
How would you feel about taking a polygraph test just to prove that you didn't have anything to do with Chris's disappearance?
Yep, I told him I would do that too.
But things didn't turn out as expected.
All of a sudden the door goes click, in walks in, the officer, and he goes, "You passed." And I was like, "I did?" So
Why you sad, bro?
After eliminating Eric, the detectives turned their focus back to the Cochran family, with Jason now at the center of their suspicions. As the betrayed husband, he had every motive to hurt Chris. But according to
That is
Kelly,
true.
things were more complicated. They had already separated, yet for some reason still lived under the same roof.
So they was divorced.
Kelly, was living a life of a single person. She was constantly running around with different men.
There were times when she came home about 1:30, didn't tell me where she was at, and I didn't really want to know. I hate to say it.
You kind of understand why you're here?
Yeah. I think so. You know what I mean? There's somebody that's missing. I'm gonna guess that I'm probably the jealous husband.
The detectives also uncovered piles of text messages from Jason to Kelly, revealing how angry and upset he was about her dating other men.
Oh, so he was.
He made it clear he didn't want her seeing anyone else, and his frustration was evident in every message. One day, Jason even spotted Kelly's truck parked outside Chris's house, which led to a heated argument between him and Chris.
Did he confront you about the time when he said he was on a walk and he saw your truck parked by Chris's apartment?
He had mentioned that, yeah.
What did he say?
He had seen my truck there.
The tension was reaching its peak, but the case was about to take an even more twisted turn. On March 16, 2015, the detectives finally received a search warrant for the Cochran house. As they made their way there, little did they know they were about to uncover a series of shocking surprises that would turn the investigation on its head.
Oh, so this is the scene that we seen earlier.
Crazy dog.
Of her.
You have two dogs?
So it was
Okay,
her.
what I mean?
They're not friendly. Stop.
And what I have, Kelly, is I have a search warrant.
Just one look at the house, and it was no less than creepy. But they had more serious concerns.
Son, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Okay.
Not on us, but we have weapons in the house.
You want to tell me where they are before you...
I've got a 22 under there. Should be able to reach right in and get it.
The whole house was filled with an unsettling number of weapons, all carefully placed in
Okay.
nearly
So now,
every corner.
okay. So at first I was confused by all of this. Like when they displayed it earlier, I was more of like, why are they showing us this? So now we get into the what kind of medieval shit do they got going on here? These niggas straight up.
Jason had a passion for collecting them, but these weren't just any weapons. They were all deadly.
He had swords, crossbows. Everywhere you go in that home, you can put your hands on something tangible and use it as a weapon. That was a very eerie feeling.
That is weird.
Do you want a jacket or something?
As the search of the house continued, the Cochrans were asked to leave.
You guys aren't going to turn the computer off, are you?
No.
Okay.
Is there something on there you don't want us?
No.
She's working on something? Okay.
The house seemed far from ordinary. The doors
Definitely.
and door frames were all broken, giving the impression of a violent struggle or altercation. So, realizing the need for more detailed investigation, they called in the crime lab for a thorough examination. While waiting for the experts to arrive, they suddenly noticed something horrible, which was about to confirm their worst fears.
The tiles on the ceiling. Is that what she said? Yeah, and painted it.
And she said, yeah, we've done remodeling and replaced some ceiling tiles. That's probably where the cast off is.
It could have happened right here.
Okay, well, I'm going to step in here. We got a positive reaction with the luminol on on the ceiling here.
Right here.
Oh.
And then there was something over.
I think luminol is something I can't vividly remember, but luminol is something that they do to find blood. I'm pretty sure.
The white ceiling was splattered with what appeared to be dried blood. The sight left no room for doubt. This house was hiding something far more sinister, or perhaps something that could hold the answers to Chris's
was he in on
disappearance.
it too?
And they said that they got a positive reaction from that.
Oh man.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm sorry.
The investigators thought they'd struck a gold mine of evidence against the Cochrans. But just when they were on the verge of solving the case, something shocking happened the next day.
I got a phone call from one of the neighbors in the morning and said, I just want to let you know that they totally loaded up their truck and skipped town.
It was time to turn up the heat on the Cochrans, so the investigators turned to the neighbors for help, who provided them with the breaking news of their escape. But that wasn't all. They also had a lot of chilling details about what they'd noticed around the time of Chris's disappearance.
The Cochrans started renovating their house, but not during the day. He could hear them in their basement using power tools for multiple nights.
You guys had heard them
Oh
using
my
tools.
gosh. Before it gets too in depth, before we get more into it, I think they probably murdered more than just him. No cap. I feel like I just got a feeling of that. And they're both in on it. I thought it was just her, but it seemed like Jason in on it too, because why the fuck are you leaving town if you didn't do nothing? It makes no sense. It's pointless. It's fruitless. But it seems as if I thought you was an innocent man. I thought you was a normal bystander. Heck nah. You definitely got
And you
bro.
figured that was when?
Right around October, you know. Sanding away.
Just
you could hear that.
sanding,
Reciprocating.
reciprocating saws.
Skill saws.
Like saw after saw after saw after saw is crazy. There's multiple kinds of saws to like different jobs. So they was breaking down bones, breaking
To
down
uncover the
tiles or whatever.
secrets the Cochrans had been hiding in the
order to
darkness of the
hide.
night, they returned to the house for another search. What they found was straight out of a horror movie.
We gonna read this. Hold on. Some monsters are born, others are made, and some have no idea that they're monsters at all. What scares you the most, the known or the unknown? We all put on the face that we want the world to see. Evil has, I ain't gonna lie, your handwriting is trash. Evil has a scent and a look. Evil recognizes evil. Prey recognizes the smell of scent of a predator. And I can't see that last one, but that's some crazy stuff to write down in the journal.
Movie, as they discovered a journal that had been written by Jason.
Oh, this. I thought this nigga was innocent. Nah.
And he had
never
titled
mind,
it
never mind.
Where Monsters Hide. Then he goes on to talking about
The hunter is close.
being a hunter and how the hunter
picks his
hunts
target.
the prey and feels this tingle through their
tingle through
body.
their
And
body.
it's kind of eerie, almost like he was writing about this
They was
situation.
tag teaming niggas, bro.
It's almost like a thinly veiled confession.
Premium again.
The creepier the case was, the smarter the investigators were taking every step. It turned out that before the Cochrans had snapped, a private investigator had placed a tracking device under their truck. When the detective
cold. That's a cold nigga. But that because if you remember a lot of the times, I remember I was watching the case. I think I was watching Cash and Flight react to the same case or whatever, and they let this girl just flee away to like some kind of island. I can't really remember which one, but I remember how they caught her. She was like a yoga instructor or whatever, and one of the police facaded as a person that was like, oh, I need a yoga instructor. I need a trainer or whatever. And she's like, oh, this and that, blah, blah, blah. They caught her dumb. Bro, that was crazy. Oh, my bad.
detectives got a search warrant for the GPS tracker. They tracked the Cochrans' movements all the way from Michigan's Upper Peninsula to Robert, Indiana, where Kelly's parents lived.
I have no
But
clue
the
how far
problem
that is.
now was they were out of their jurisdiction.
Oh.
However, the detectives
Yeah,
were prepared. They contacted the sheriff's department in Indiana and asked them to collect DNA samples from the Cochrans, because they had every reason to believe this was a criminal case.
We told Jason that we had a search warrant for his DNA and we needed to transport him to the Hobart Police Department. He did not say a word the entire time.
Yeah, that nigga.
He was just sitting in the back of the car, shaking and sweating and like wringing his hands together.
Without wasting any time, Jason and Kelly were brought into the Robert police station. But just as they thought they had everything under control, Jason was in for the shock of his life.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm doing good.
So you seen me in Indiana, huh? You were begging your wife. After you cheated on you. You remember telling her, if you ever loved me, you'd act like my wife. It says right in your messages, don't go back to those apartments. You're a married woman. Remember saying that?
Okay.
Do you remember?
The investigator came all the way to Indiana, dropped off a big load of information. This nigga deep fried, bro. He fried, bro. It's over. It's Joe over.
I don't really feel like answering any questions, so I feel like you've violated my constitutional rights.
How's that?
I'm a lawyer.
It's not a violation of rights,
I'm
but
going to get your DNA.
Despite Chief Rizzo's efforts to make
this why I
Jason
don't
feel
fuck with you bitches. I'm telling you, bro. This is why I just be talking about myself, bro. I just keep pushing. I do my own thing, bro. Because you don't know what kind of situation is in front of you, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
like the victim during the interrogation, it didn't take long for the session to come to an abrupt end. Meanwhile, Kelly seemed more than ready to face whatever came next.
So Jason was here for quite a while. And,
he put up a facade.
Right, so I'm a lawyer.
I'll come in and get your DNA.
Despite Chief Rizzo's efforts to make Jason feel like the victim during the interrogation, it didn't take long for the session to come to an abrupt end. Meanwhile, Kelly seemed more than ready to face whatever came next.
So Jason was here for quite a while. And, it took a while. But Jason told us some stuff.
No, he didn't.
The problem with you, Kelly, is that, you know, I've caught you in so many lies that I'm trying to give you an opportunity now to just say, hey, you know, I f***ed up.
I'm asking for a lawyer. I'm done with the questions.
Okay.
I'm fine doing the DNA. I told you before I was fine doing the DNA.
Okay.
Let's get this done.
Although Chief Rizzo hadn't gotten any answers from Kelly or Jason, she refused to let the case slip away. As the investigation progressed, it shifted from a simple missing persons case to a homicide investigation. Soon, her attention turned to a place called Caspian Pit, which was just a few meters from the Cochran home. What made this location so intriguing was its potential to hide evidence, or even a body. While a search team was already sent there, the suspicions were quickly proved to be on spot when they discovered a burned barrel at the site. Initially, it was thought that the barrel might have been used to dispose of Chris's body, especially when they found cement blocks inside that perfectly matched those discovered at the Cochran house.
I was out in my garage, and what in the heck's that smell? And I walked across the street here, and she came running out of her yard and met me in the middle of the street, and I said, what the hell are you burning? And she's there, I'm burning some brush out there. I said, look, I lived up here my whole life, and I never smelled nothing like that.
They also had a fire pit.
So he knew they was up to something. That was it. But y'all heard his accent. That boy accent was strong as a bitch. Brush. They had some brush up there. Oh, so they knew he
In the
was
back
they
of
were
their
burning
house.
a body.
And
Wow.
when the detectives
Okay.
carefully sifted through the ashes, they found some alarming items: a saw blade and components of a pair of jeans. These items were highly significant and suggested they were finally on the right track. As time passed, it was already February 2016, and the pressure had started to increase. But then,
The 911 call from Kelly Cochran comes in that could unravel the mystery of what happened to Chris Reagan.
Wake County 911, operator 17.
Yeah, my husband's, his face is like blue. He's breathing barely. I don't know what's wrong. He's throwing up. He's sweating. I need an ambulance right away.
You said he's breathing, difficulty breathing?
Barely.
when police and paramedics arrived at the scene, one detail immediately stood out: Kelly's reaction to finding her husband Jason dead from an apparent cardiac arrest didn't match what they expected.
I'm panicking, like,
Whoa. Okay, that right there is actually kind of crazy. Yo, what? What? Hold on. If you was watching this, John, you would understand. It's called Killer Realizes Cops Found Her Murder House. This bitch has a murder house. I'm talking about, oh yeah, I didn't even tell you. All these tools, all of a sudden, bro. If you go into her house, you was able to find a Glock 22, not Glock 22, but a 22, knives, crossbows, everything. Medieval weapons, all of that in her house. Wow. Bro.
That is just diabolical.
Yeah, that bitch crazy, bro. Oh no, she got caught. Both their ass got caught. But I don't know if the husband committed like that or if she took him. Yeah. So
I would say, in my opinion, that she did it. Instead of him committing suicide.
You think she killed him?
Yeah. I'm 100% she did it.
I'm gonna get back to you when the video done, and I'll tell you your answer.
like I'm trying to, be of some use. As much as I didn't want him in my life, I didn't want him dead.
However, Jason was pronounced.
Oh, fuck. That's your reaction to your husband dying? That is literally the man that you chose to marry. You could have rejected him. You said, as much as I didn't want him in your... Who the fuck talk like that? Who? Like, bro, on some real shit, who even talks like that, though, bro? Like, that's actually kind of crazy.
Dead, and just moments later, Kelly contacted his close friend Watt to discuss his sudden death. But something about her felt off to Watt. She seemed unusually strange and abrupt, and her behavior felt staged. Sensing that something wasn't right, Watt decided to share his concerns with the FBI.
I found the flyer on Chris Regan being missing, and it had 2 numbers on there, the Iron River Police and the FBI. So I figured somebody should know that Jason's dead.
Do you remember what you told the FBI?
I told them that I have some friends that lived in the UP. They told me they're suspects, and one of them died Saturday.
The FBI quickly took over the case, and the call landed on the desk of Detective Jeremy Ogden. Recognizing the importance of Jason's death and the broader investigation, Ogden ensured that Jason's body wasn't sent to the funeral home before undergoing a thorough autopsy.
And so what did you learn in that particular one?
I learned that, Jason had petechial hemorrhaging around his eyes, within his the whites of his pupils.
And what does that point to?
Pressure and suffocation.
This piqued Ogden's curiosity about Kelly's background and Chris's case, so he reached out to Chief Frizzo and carefully reviewed every document related to the case. This deep dive set the stage for what would become a tense cat-and-mouse game between Ogden and Kelly. Taking over as the lead investigator, Ogden's first move was strategic. He focused on building a relationship of trust with Kelly. This required patience and several comforting conversations to make her feel at ease, all while he carefully worked to uncover the truth.
You can begin the next chapter of your life. There's only one way for you to do this, though, and that's 100% honest.
And I don't want to make a permanent decision on that temporary thought feeling. But on the way I feel now, because that's not fair to me or whoever else it would affect.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to get somebody to tell you a secret that only they know. And I come up with this idea about a fake letter.
Next, Ogden enlisted Jason's...
That nigga was cooking. Jesus. No, okay.
Friend Watt to help with a clever plan. He asked Watt to call Kelly and tell her that Jason had mailed him a letter before his death. The goal was simple: to observe Kelly's reaction and see if it revealed anything of their use.
I got a letter like January 4th or 5th or something like that from him. The note says, if something were to happen to me, please send this in a few weeks to the Iron River Police Department. It's like I'm supposed to mail this, but I just wanted to tell you.
Please don't.
you were basically having to convince Kelly that her dead husband was sending a message from beyond the grave.
That he felt or knew that
Someone's
she
vibing to him.
likely was going to do something to him.
But Ogden wasn't done playing his game of strategy with Kelly,
Dog!
as he had many
Oh,
more
hold
moves
on.
planned. Kelly had a habit of visiting a particular park, unaware that she was being followed every time she went there. This time, Ogden and his team devised their boldest plan yet, a calculated move designed to scare Kelly and push her close to confessing.
So he decides to make a carving on the tree that will really freak her out when she sees it.
Fat. Yo, this bro, dog. Whoa, because no, y'all niggas gotta understand. A lot of detectives in this in this world be stupid, or they not really stupid, but the strategic plan that they choose is not really the way to go. He knew exactly what to do to this girl to get this girl to break on both murders. He put Chris's hair on the tree. She said, her scary ass. And then he put a letter of the husband. Dog. Y'all remember James Hart, bro, when Harden used to, anytime he used to fry somebody, that boy used to, oh my goodness, bro, he mixing some shit. God.
And what he carves into the tree is, Chris is here.
That night, Kelly finally cracked. The pressure, the fear, and the weight of her secrets became too much to bear. Believing there was no way left for her to escape, she decided it was time to reveal the dark truth she had buried deep for years.
You watched him die, right? Where did he shoot him in his body? You don't know?
Not really.
This
you
is about
caught
Chris.
in your arms? Chris is lying in your house, shot. You told me this. And that he died quickly. Correct?
For the first time, Kelly admitted that Chris had been murdered. According to her, Jason's jealousy boiled over when he caught her and Chris together, leading him to shoot Chris in the back. Kelly painted herself as a victim, claiming she'd always lived in fear of Jason. But if this seemed like the end of...
Yo, so she's trying to manipulate. You think... Girl, stop.
the story,
Man,
then
come
brace
on,
yourself, as it was only the beginning. What followed were the most twisted and disturbing revelations ever.
What happened to Chris? What? What do you mean by downsize? What did he do with Chris?
Cut him up.
But you know where he put a piece of it. Yes. You're going to go with me, okay? We're going to go.
The team spent the entire night driving back to Michigan, determined to locate Chris's body based on Kelly's confession. But when they arrived, they found nothing. Despite the setback, Ogden stayed composed and gave Kelly one final chance to come clean. He asked her to take them to the Cochran house and show exactly where the murder had occurred. Inside, Kelly pointed upstairs, where she admitted to being physical with Chris. Then she led him downstairs, explaining that as Chris was about to leave, Jason shot him in cold blood.
Is he still on top of you when you get to the bottom? Are you actually under him? Yeah. Okay. What's Jason say to you?
Nothing. He just looked at me.
So now
Nothing
he's just
seemed
lying.
to be working in their favor,
Like,
as even after all their efforts,
on.
Kelly continued to portray herself as the helpless victim in the entire ordeal.
Honestly, I don't care if you believe me or not. He's not in the ground. I know he's not in the ground. I give you my word.
You have to understand that there are things that you've said throughout this that would cause concern, okay? And changes and variations of your story.
The lack of progress and Kelly's evasiveness pushed Ogden's frustration to a boiling point.
You have said that you're the victim when it comes to Chris. That you were put in this bad position, right?
Yes.
No more of this crap lying to me. No more, no, all I've been back and forth with you. All.
Kelly had no intention of ending her cat and mouse game, but things took another dramatic turn when she snapped once again. The case, already full of twists, became even more intense when Kelly made an unplanned move. Unbeknownst to her, her movements were being tracked via GPS as she headed to Kentucky. However, this time, her luck ran out, and she was immediately arrested upon arrival. Detective...
His bitch trying to flee to Kentucky. Yo, bro, I remember being younger and I actually wanted to go to Kentucky College, University. I remember that, bro. What the fuck? It's because my favorite color blue, and their team was blue as a bit. I was like, damn, that'd be kind of hard.
Detective Ogden was now ready to unravel her so-called perfect plan and prepared to confront her with the mounting evidence. But Kelly, always one step ahead, had a bombshell of her own to drop.
Things are different now.
Why are they different?
Because I'm here. If I shoot it, be my responsibility, regardless if you have to or not.
You took part in the planning of it. You allowed it to occur when you didn't have to allow it to occur.
Her new story? She claimed she'd known all along that Jason would kill Chris that day because they'd made an agreement.
When does that agreement occur?
The wedding night.
And your agreement from the time you were married was that you had the affair. It's your responsibility to kill off that person.
Or he'd kill me.
Or he would kill you. Vice versa.
Right.
Kelly was officially charged with Chris's murder, but the case took another shocking turn when she was escorted from her cell to lead investigators to where Chris's body was buried. The officers followed her, expecting closure, but what they discovered was far beyond their darkest nightmare.
What?
Thank you. Can I go that way? What would the biggest piece of bone be that you...
Torso.
The torso, and that was here?
Yeah.
So then we should find ribs, and I think that generally...
The skull should be the biggest, though.
Kelly's demeanor was eerily calm, as if she felt no guilt for what she'd done.
How do you...
Cheese pizza?
Just cheese?
Maybe a soda.
Can you bring pizza?
You said something about forceps?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. There you go.
You're saying you use those?
Yep.
Every piece of evidence matched the details she'd given, but the real mystery was just about to unfold.
I'm gonna get emotional. I wait 1 second, because it still gets me every time. I just said to myself, I finally found you. I just literally, said that to myself, you know? So.
It was a sobering moment for everyone involved. While they finally had the answers to where Chris's body had been hidden, the painful truth was that they could never bring him back.
No.
It was now time for the final decision. On February 13th, 2017, Kelly's trial began, and despite everything she'd admitted during the interrogations, she continued to plead not guilty. She stuck to her story, claiming that she was the victim in her troubled marriage with Jason.
There was a lot of times where he would grab me and push me, shove me. He became very jealous, very angry. There was times where he had threatened me in the house, outside of the house, throwing stuff at me. I don't know if I would have been capable to shoot him or even do anything about it. How else would you like? Because every time I had an interview or an interrogation with him, everything I said was wrong. What do you mean? I don't think you said was wrong. He would question me until I said what was supposed to be said.
Over the course of 3 weeks, nearly 60 people took the stand to testify in Kelly's trial. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence against her was the constant change in her story. From the time Chris went missing to the moment his remains were discovered, Kelly's versions of events kept shifting. Each new variation made it harder for Kelly, and her fate was locked by the jury.
Count number 1, open murder, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, aiding and abetting.
Yeah.
Everybody just cried, and Chris's family was sitting right behind me, and the first thing I did is just turn around and hug them.
In Michigan, a conviction for first-degree premeditated murder means a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. But the case was not going to end soon, as it still had one more shocking twist left. There was something far more gruesome hidden beneath the surface, an unsettling detail that had never come to light until now.
Kelly and Jason asked me if I want to come over for dinner one night, I was like, yeah, sure. And this was like 2 days after Chris was missing.
It's like
Oh,
mind-boggling.
nah, so that nigga Jason was definitely a part of it. Okay.
So we were always wondering about
Okay.
that. What if they were that kind of people and actually did kill a guy and then butchered him up and had us over for dinner? I think they hacked him up and they do it to us. Don't even say that.
I'm like, oh God, like, no. When I realized that I might have ate the dude, I didn't want to believe it.
For the first time, Kelly's brother, Colton Gaboyan, came forward with even more disturbing information that painted his sister in an evil light.
And the more is coming from her. She's telling you guys that there's more. And how many more bodies did she tell you? Mostly there's 9.
Oh, fuck it, bro. I called it. I said it. I said them niggas, it's more than just him. I called it from the jump. I said they been killing people, bro. Regardless, I already knew it. Man, come on, bro.
While Kelly was behind bars, a phone recording surfaced that would change everything. In it, Kelly's own mother was heard questioning her about other victims.
Hi, Kath. What's going on, Kelly? What the hell is wrong? I mean, where did all this come from?
You didn't see this coming?
I see this coming after it all happened, but I didn't know that you guys killed people before all this. Do you have a conscience? Has this have you always felt this way?
I've always been like this, huh?
This could have been the major breakthrough the case needed, but despite the serious allegations, no evidence was found to suggest that there were other victims or that Kelly was involved in any murders beyond Chris's.
Bro. They were murdering people, bro. Like, the bitch has no conscience. She don't have nothing. You could see that. And then Jason Book, evil knows evil do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Come on, bro. It's too, whatchamacallit?
The case ended with many unanswered questions.
Nigga, go away!
And a lingering
Go away!
mystery, leaving people to wonder.
Bro, this is not going away, bro. Bro, no. Alt F. What the fuck? Okay.
Wonder what other secrets Kelly might have been hiding. However, for those who had followed Chris Reagan's story, it was still a moment of relief. Justice had been served, even if the full truth remained a mystery.
You know, but...
What are your thoughts on this case? Was Kelly really the victim of an abusive marriage? And was she involved in more murder?
But I feel like it's so obvious to tell, like, bro, she was definitely not the case. Like, no. She was not the victim of the story. She is none of that. Nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. The kind of person she is, bro, hell nah. She's an evil, sadistic, crazy bitch. That's all she is. For real. Like, there's nothing in between. The both of them. I feel like she murdered her husband. Once I feel like her husband had too much guilt on his mind. They said they killed at least 9 people together, which means that they was going around butchering people while they weren't even in the right headspace as a couple. These niggas probably thought killing would bring them back together. And then to top it all off, you feed off somebody to a bystander. This is why when niggas, bro, do not eat your neighbor's cooking, bro. Unless if you really watching that bitch, bro. For real, do not do it, bro. Don't do it to yourself.
Need you to come my way. I'm going out my mind. Dirty MG, they blew. How many at one time? But you said gotta be true. You was all on my mind. Wherever I go, they go. Too many at one time.